Okay, here we go. Thank you so much. So today I want to start off. I got a great meme, and it goes as follows. It says, it's a little sign on his computer, and it says, "The blessing one says before a Zoom meeting, Hineni muchan umezuman l'kayem," to fulfill this meeting. Hineni muchan umezuman. I see Bernie's is rolling on the floor, and it's right there, Ellie. Hineni muchan umezuman. That's thanks to Ari Schwartz for sending that one, and it really got me laughing. So Hineni muchan umezuman. May the words that I say find favor in everyone's eyes and everyone's heart. May inspire me and inspire you, inspire all of us, be close to one another and close to Hashem. So today, first of all, we want to thank the Rabinowitzes, Adam and Elisheva and Adam. It's the yahrzeit of Elisheva's mom, Hensha, the daughter of Elimelech and Malka. May the neshama have an aliyah, such a beautiful mishpacha. I have no doubt that your children are giving power to your mother, to Soar and Shemayim. And I'm sure she's an intercessor on your behalf. She should only have nachas and health and happiness and children and grandchildren with Hashem from all your children. And we should share those simchas for a long time to come. The Rabinowitzes are very close to our shul, to my family, and they've been here from the beginning. And someone, I hold everyone, kulam ahovim, but they're especially close with us, and really a thrill that you sponsor today and honor your mother. And I'll tell you the truth, I saved a story that I liked very much, and I was trying to find a appropriate setting to put the story to a Dvar. And it struck me when I was preparing, what am I going to say tonight? And it hit me like lightning, the story and the Dvar I want to say. And it's obviously providential, because when I'll say the story, you'll understand why God made me wait until this day when Elisheva and Adam Rabinowitz sponsored the Dvar Chizuk. It'll all become clear to you. So I'll leave you in suspense till the end. This way, no one will leave till the end. Okay. And I'm not going to start with the story. I'm going to start with the Vart. Then I'm going to say the story, and then everything will wrap up into one wonderful lesson. And obviously, Hashkachim and Shemayim, that it came out, because the Rabinus is I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago, said they want to sponsor. And I already had the story waiting on my desk. When am I going to use this story? So here it goes. So first of all, today is Malchus Shebahid. Malchus Shebahid. Malchus is the epitome. When a person reaches that point, where in a sense he's a melech. A melech in our tradition is not someone who has all sorts of honor and glory, but someone who's there like the melech, who's there to serve, has no sense of self, just gives. It's just there to give and to give and to give. A melech gives, but he doesn't need anyone to give him pleasure. He independent. That's what a melech. Melech, the Rambam says, is leiv. Melech is kol Yisrael. He's just there for everyone. And when a person reaches the level of malchus, that means that he becomes a reflection of the Malchus Shemayim, because it's just like a mirror, Reb Shimshon Pincus says, that just radiates Hashem's hashpah, and it gives it off forward. And this night that we're heading into, Malchus Shebahid, as we mentioned over the week, Haid is the midah of Aaron HaKohen. And Aaron HaKohen, as I mentioned, was V'rachav V'samach B'libai. He was the one who just gave up of himself. He had no sense of self. He was able to tolerate and to understand. We spoke about Shimon Yochai in that image, and he just gave of himself. As Moshe Rabbeinu said, Mahu kisalinu alav. Who is he? He's a nothing. He's just a reflection of Hashem. You can't even talk about him and any imperfection, any selfish motives, because Aaron is Haid, and that's what Haid is. It just radiates the essence of that person and the beauty and the midas that are within him, without any sullying of self, without any diminishing of the brilliance. When you have a mirror that's a little murky, so it doesn't reflect the light as well. When you have a nice shiny mirror, then the light that comes from Shemayim radiates. And it's interesting, the epitome of Aaron is evident in the fact that of all the people in Klal Yisrael, all the segments of Klal Yisrael, the one that is specifically entrusted with the mission of giving a blessing, to be a conduit for Hashem's work. Because what's a bracha? A bracha, it means it's like a brecha. It's a well. Hashem is the one who gives off his bounty and his influence and his hashpah. And when you give a bracha, the greater the individual is, the purer the individual is, as a vessel, a kli for HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ratzon, so he becomes the conduit for Hashem's bracha. And that's why Hashem entrusted the Kayanim, because of their elevated height, where they are purely refined, brilliant mirrors that merely reflect the Ratzon of Hashem, so they can serve as the conduit for bracha. And that's why we say, the Kayanim say, to Mevarach Yisrael B'Ava. And I once said, I'm going to repeat it quickly. The Talmud Rebbe, I heard it, and I saw it in an earlier source later on. He says, where do you see that you have to bench, the Kayanim have to do a B'Ava? So he suggested, and I saw this from an earlier Chassidish source, he says, because the Pasuk never said, go ahead and do it. All Hashem says, here's the formula for blessing Klal Yisrael. This is the formula you say. He never told him to do it. Because the nature of Eichos Kayanim is, you got to want to do it. In a sense, it's a choice for the Kayanim. Hashem said, here's a bracha, Kaisavarchu. A Kayin who doesn't have any sense of self is only here to radiate the Kvod Shemayim and to give up every single aspect of himself for others. So then he automatically wants, of course, to utilize and implement this magic formula, Kaisavarchu. He doesn't need it, Sava. So the very fact that the command was written in a way which sort of implies a choice. Kaisar, Azai, this I should give a bracha. Oh, Azai, I'm going to grab it as an opportunity because I'm here, I'm dedicated. That's what I'm here for. It's my soul being. So that's, I think, the malchus shabahid, and that's something, even if you're not a kayin, you can aspire to. And anyone, that's a tzaddik. What's a tzaddik? He's not a kayin, but a tzaddik, someone like Rav Shimon ben Yochai, who refined himself to such a level that he was just a vessel for Hashem's presence and he became a pipe for Hashem's conduit. It was a conduit for the bracha Hashem sound in this world. Everyone can, and when the tzaddik is a bracha, it's not so magical, he has a hocus pocus and he knows the magic formulas. He becomes a vehicle, the mirror that reflects the Ratzon Hashem and can give it and shine it onto somebody else. So with that introduction, I'm going to say the story, and then the story will be self-evident to everyone. For those who don't know the details, I'm going to tell you a little secret. So the story goes like this. There was a young gentleman, his name was Yaakov Yehoshua Weiss. He remembers the moment he decided to donate a kidney. And he remembers exactly the back and forth and, getting the swab and then waiting for the call. Finally, when the call came, just a little dizzy, set of weeks and days and weeks until it was finalized. And finally, he was there and he gave the kidney and he donated the kidney. And it was done. And he saved the life of another Jew. Afterwards, Yaakov Yeshua is a Hasidic young man, and he went to the Sadm Rebbe for a bracha. And in the course of the meeting, the Rebbe told Yaakov Yeshua something that touched him to the core of his essence. He says, now that you gave a kidney, you have the koyach to give others a bracha. Yaakov Yeshua, this was a major chiddush. He should give a bracha. He was just a simple guy. I mean, he did a great deed, but he was just a regular person. But the Sadm Rebbe had made the comment in all seriousness, and he took it, the Rebbe at his word. He had never dreamed that donating a kidney gave someone such power, but the Rebbe said it, who's he to argue? He didn't open up shop and say, Yaakov Yeshua's blessing store, and he kept it to himself, and it remained with him until finally he met another Yid. He met another Yid, and that Yid's name was Nosson David. And he had donated his kidney to his mother. And listen to this. Listen to Yaakov Yeshua's reaction when he heard about that. And when Yaakov Yeshua met this Nosson David, who gave a kidney to his mother, he was overwhelmed with what he learned about that he had done. And he said in his mind, it's one thing to give a kidney to a stranger or to a friend. It meant you're giving him life. When you give a kidney to your own mother, that was something else entirely. A person can never truly repay one's mother for even a fraction of what she does from the beginning of time on this earth. How do you repay the person who gave you life? But donating a kidney almost qualified in Yaakov Yeshua's mind. Thus, David's mother had given him life, and his son in turn had repaid him. That's how he reacted to it. And then he said, by the way, Nosson David, I want to tell you something. I was by the Sadm Rebbe, and the Sadm Rebbe told me a secret. He said, this club called the Kidney Donors, we have a special power to give a bracha. So he was also taken aback, and he said, "You serious?" He says, "I couldn't be more serious." So it registered with him, and it meant a lot to him. This Nosson David, he's also, he was also a Chizuk man, and he took it to heart, and he was going to keep it at the right moment. A few weeks later, Nosson David happened to spend Shabbos with his brother-in-law, and when he looked at his brother-in-law, who had been married many years, who had one child, but only one child, and among the family Hasidim, families have many children, and even though even having one child is a blessing, never to be taken for granted. But he realized that they had a 13-year-old boy, but they had no other children. And suddenly he said, wait a second, I remember. The Rebbe told Yaakov Yeshua, who told me that we have a power to give a bracha. So he would always remember that moment, and he remembered that. And he said to himself, and he says, well, just because he told him, it may work for me too. He didn't tell it to me, but he says, I'm going to do it. So he turns to his brother-in-law and he says, listen. He says, he tells him the whole story and he says, listen, I'm endowed with a bracha. I heard from the Satan Rebbe that I have the power, and I'm going to give you a bracha from the bottom of my heart. And he said, my dear brother-in-law, David should bless you and your wife. You should be blessed with Zarach Havakayama. And he said, Amen, Ken Yiratzai. A few months later, Nosson David's sister, who was a sister and a brother-in-law, learned that they were expecting the second child after 14 years. In an interesting turn of events, the due date, even though she gave birth a little later, but the due date was exactly a year to the day when Nosson David gave a kidney to his mother. His nephew was born a few days after the date. It was also the day that Nosson David's mother passed away, more than a year after the transplant that extended a life on earth. But the transplant had done much more than that. It had given her son the ability to give a blessing to others, and he had used it well. It's an amazing story. It speaks for itself. That's machal shebachayit. When someone can just give of themselves for someone else, it's not shot simply you get a magic power to give a bracha. You do that, you're a kli. You're a kli for the machal shemayim. When you're a kli for machal shemayim, then the Ratzon Hashem, and whatever you say reflects Hashem, and you give a bracha, you're radiating the Hashem, and that's why the bracha, because it's like the Kainim, who also, they give a bracha, and it's through them, Hashem gives the bracha to Klal Yisrael and to the Kainim. It's the same idea. That's the mashal. I think that's the pshat in the story, and the reason why I'm saying it is, maybe some of you don't realize it, and remember the early days of Ashul, but Elisheva Rabinowitz was one of the earliest people in Baltimore to give a kidney to a stranger, to an ad in the ad. I'm sorry, I'm embarrassing her, but only a picture is here, but she's not here actually letting herself appear, but she's right there on the screen. And Baruch Hashem, and the person she gave the kidney to is Baruch Hashem, lived many, many years, and is well and reaping a lot of nachas. And she was one of many. It was a catalyst we had in our shul. Ronnie Pacino gave a kidney, and Susan Lassen gave not to her mother, not to her father, but to her father-in-law. And Baruch Hashem, he's doing well. Dr. Lassen, Dr. Moshe Lassen, and that's what it's all about. The machal shebachayit. So, of course, to give a kidney is a remarkable thing. Not everyone's up to it, but a person doesn't have to give a kidney necessarily to be able to be a kli for the Ratzon Hashem. You have to be able to give of yourself. And if you're capable of giving a kidney, that's one thing, but you give your time, your interest, your concern. You pare away the personal level layers that prevent the light from shining, that sully the mirror. Shine our mirror. The more we remove the stains that we call selfishness, the more we radiate the Kvod Shemayim. The more we radiate the Machzor Shemayim, the more we reach the level of Machal Shebachayit. And that radiance, that goodness, that warmth, that understanding, the sensitivity that radiates, which is what Hayit is, the Machal Shebachayit, you become a vessel and you become the Kli for the Machal Shemayim. May we all be inspired by this beautiful family, this wonderful woman, and all those. And by the way, I just read before I came here, there was a call went out by Mr. Reiner, I think his name is head of renewal. He's one who initiated the organization called Renewal. And unfortunately, one of the consequences of COVID is many people lost kidney function. Hopefully it'll return, but they're not sure. Many have lost permanent kidney function. And I think he said over COVID, they expect another 100 potential recipients, 100, and they're short on money. And they made an appeal that people should give. They need to raise $2 million so they can do the publicity and try to get kidney donors. And I should say, Kula Mahuvin, there are many in our shul and many in the community that went that evening. They had an evening for renewal and they swabbed, and many people who had gone through the question of giving kidney, not giving kidney, but many people were willing to give that hide, to radiate that magnificent hide, to give of oneself in that way. May all of those who have given, and you can line up her numbers in the book. Elisheva Rabinowitz will give brachas as you. I'm sure she's so generous; she'll dispense brachas. So it's a good Rebbe in our kehillah to ask for a bracha, because the San Rebbe said, if you give a kidney, you can give a bracha. But we give her a bracha in return that her and her family should continue to have a lot of nachas from their children. They should be healthy and well. They should have panos and nachas. They should be safe from COVID-19. They should continue doing the wonderful things that they do, both in the mental health and the health field. Both of them, Adam and Elisheva, remarkable people, remarkable children, remarkable friends, remarkable members of our shul. May they be blessed, and may the brachas be mekuyim. And we look forward to emulating these great heroes in our community who give of themselves, who radiate Hoid, and may we all achieve the Malchus Shabbat in Mitzvah Hashem as we go forward in our levels of perfection up until Matan Torah. Hopefully Hashem will reveal himself again, and this time he'll tell us it's time to come home.